everybody. What is up? I just realized Oh, it's my sloth. Like something is in my camera view, and it was my sloth. Hope everybody's doing great tonight. Hope you had a great weekend as well. Tammy, right now, that spray that you have in the studio would be very good with Bella right now. Ooh, she's got the gas going tonight, let me tell you. My name is Pamela, aka Scooter Renee. For those of you that are watching the playback or you come in live later and you don't know who I am, but I am Scooter Renee. I'm the host of your Monday Motivation tonight, as I am every Monday. Make sure you do all the YouTube things. You subscribe to my channel. You ring the bell to be notified of all notifications of when I go live or drop new content. And also a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate that as well. And so, let's see. I just can't get over the smell right now. I don't know. Dogs, I think, smell the worst. Whew. Anyways, let's see who all is here, and then we'll get started. It's probably a short night tonight, guys. This right here was a little rough, I think, researching. I'm super excited about next week's topic, so maybe that's what it is, but not a whole lot of notes tonight, but there is some. We got Tammy in the house. Welcome in, Tammy. Good to see you. And Cool Ranch. Yeah, she's always got to be first in line. Duh. Hey, Cool. We got Selena here. Hey, Selena. And Darlene. Hello, Darlene. Welcome in. Lisa D's here. Welcome in, Lisa D. And real quick, guys, those of you that watched the video dropped earlier, talk about a pity party. It's like, okay, I know it's just a hearing aid, but the glare on my glasses is bugging me. Squirrel moment. I know it's just a hearing aid. It's just been a whole frustrating problem for a while, So, especially when you thought a surgery was going to help and it just did more damage. So, but it'll be okay. I'll hopefully be able to do what Triple J said that her husband, he's heard sounds that he's never heard before, like dogs' nails tapping on the floor and stuff like that. And Robert was like, oh, great, I'm going to have to mumble. But it's hard for me to get excited about that because I thought that's what was going to happen with this surgery. So, but yeah, y'all can see the raw me on video of how I react to things, right or wrong. My own little pity party. Hey, Maggie Doodle, welcome in. Good to see you. Love the purple hair. Y'all competing with this hair color. Love it. Then, of course, we got baby girl here. Hey, baby girl. My Harley. Is Ellie Belly watching? Hey, Ellie Belly, it's Gigi. I love you. All right. Let's see. So we welcome everybody. Again, welcome to the playback crew. If you're watching this later, thank you so much for being here. This would not exist without the people that watch the playback as well. So nice to have y'all here as well. It's okay to have a pity party, Mama. Yes. I always tell Harley, have your pity party and then move on, which is what we're doing. Reminder, guys, we have hit 2,000 subs. I'm super excited. If you haven't subscribed to me, or if you know someone that would love Monday Motivation or the auctions that we do, please have them subscribe to me. We are just a little over 2,000, but because we're still hanging on to 2,000, we will be doing the huge giveaway on July 22nd. That's going to be a Saturday night. So not this Saturday, but the next Saturday. It'll be at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. You must be subscribed. You must be present in order to win, because we're just going to do the wheel thing and I think the hashtag giveaway. So those kind of require you to be there, right? So if at all possible, if you can be there, I would greatly appreciate that. So we can celebrate together because, again, there's no I in team. So y'all are with me on this. So I want to reward y'all as y'all have done for me. So let's see. We got Jimmy Mac. When are you coming back? Welcome in, Jimmy. Jimmy, I should have came by there. Tammy told me to come by there, and I was like, no, I got to get home. And I really did have to get home after my appointment because I had to get ready for tonight. But, and then plus I've been up since 5:45, and y'all know me. I don't get up before 7. So it's been an early day for me. But anyways, I could have used a hug this afternoon, Jimmy. Hey, Jeffrey, welcome in, buddy. Good to see you. Right, Selena? I thought about you too. I was like, oh, Lord. We're just going to start having pity parties and stuff. But at the same time, I'm like, well, I think it's important that y'all see that I have these rough moments as well. That is just not always Monday motivation me all the time. No, not quite. Yes, good job, Jeffrey. So proud of you. Awesome job. Kelly in Texas, how in the world are you? I've missed you. Good to have you. Hey, Ellie Belly. There she is. So there's that. We will do that July 22nd at 8 p.m. Central. Also, if you did not see the short or was watching last Thursday's auction, I did the hashtag June giveaway, and that winner was Tammy Dream Chaser at Hometown Country Marketplace. No, it wasn't rigged. I just pulled the name out of the cup. So, but she was a winner. So she gets 2 extra entries into the big giveaway on July 22nd. And I'm going to try to do hashtag videos for you guys that will have a question in there about me. Or something that I feel like you should know or possibly know, and you'll answer it with the hashtag. And then that way you can get some extra entries into the drawings as well. So instead of having your name on the wheel once, you'll have it on there, 3 times, whatever it may be. Let's see. If you are not sure what I'm talking about, hashtag, I do shorts on YouTube. And I put a hashtag in those short videos. All you have to do is reply with a hashtag and the word that I give you for that day. That's it. Super easy. Only 1 entry per day, though. And you have the whole month to get them in. So from July 1st through the end of the month of every month, you have to get them in until midnight that night. So if you haven't caught the first few, go back and watch them again. But just for July is the one that we're doing. Awesome, Jimmy. Got that quilt done. Awesome. Selena's only 123 away from 1,000. Come on, guys. We can get her there. Yes. So if you're watching this later, subscribe to Selena. If you haven't watched Selena, she's got awesome decorating skills blows me out of the water. I would never have those kind of skills. So let's see. So we got that going on as well. That goes on every month. So let's see. Tonight's topic, we are going to be talking about only the paranoid survive. Today had me questioning if I was paranoid. But can we be paranoid about things, right? Some of us can be really paranoid, maybe others not as much, maybe not as often as well. But I believe so. I think each and every one of us can be paranoid. And being paranoid can be a good thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. But this is thinking and feeling like you are being threatened in some way, even if there's no evidence or if there's very little evidence that you know. So my only stories I can really think of right this second is Harley's stories, because when she was little, she was paranoid. And now I guess it's me, as spiders. Like, you cannot joke with her. You cannot say, hey, there's a spider, and really there wasn't a spider there. It was some fuzz thing or what. And she would literally flip out. In fact, her daddy would get mad because he's like, I can't even joke with her. I'm like, no, not on that. Not on that. You cannot joke with her. Anything else? Maybe, but not on that. So we all have some sort of paranoia, any type of phobia as well type thing that can make us paranoid about certain things happening. So I think that's where I was going with that thought. But anyways, here we go. So our positive thought tonight is success breeds complacency. See, I said this earlier and I knew it. And complacency breeds failure. So if you're, not doing anything, if you're staying neutral, you're not growing or anything. You're just going to be failure. Only the paranoid survive. No matter how successful you become, you need to stay vigilant. Sorry, guys. I don't get thirsty until I start talking. So what does this necessarily mean? Again, you can apply this to any part of your life. As y'all know, usually I'm applying it to my reselling business. And for that, what it necessarily means is that it means that businesses or people must be prepared and on the watch for danger that can come from every corner. So you just need to be on your guard to know, to be prepared in case you need to switch, if you need to pivot or whatever. Yes, you'll love it, Maggie. You will love it. So, Andy Grove, who is one of the most admired and successful CEOs, those of you that might recognize the name, he was the CEO of Intel Corporation, which is computer stuff. Robert gets it, I don't. But he wrote a book back in 1999 on this exact subject of Only the Paranoid Survive. He's the CEO and he writes a book like this. So very interesting book, very easy read book as well. And so his book is about having a company that could survive a major upheaval, to weather the storms that companies have and so forth. So again, we can apply that to our personal life. We can apply that to our business life. But what about us and those of us that are running a business? Are we able to survive? Are we set to be able to survive a major upheaval if there was one? Could we give it a better chance to weather the storms? I believe so. I've just seen it happen as well. So I think as long as you are paying attention and you're paranoid about paying attention to what's going on within the company or your business or your life in general, yes, I think you can. But we must be able to navigate a changing business, a changing life landscape, but not all changes are equal. The main point of this book is that every company, or even us as people, will experience a strategic inflection point, and we'll go over what that means, at which they can be knocked off your pedestal, your track, whatever you want to substitute a word there for, or they can use that to spur them to further grow. So in other words, you can have it get you off track, you can have it make your business go under, whatever, if you're not paranoid, if you're not prepared for what could happen, or you can take that moment and spur it for you to grow, for your company to grow and everything. I don't know, Tammy. Even as people, if you are not a reseller or running your own business, we have to still be able to navigate, right? We have to be able to navigate a changing life because we can and will be knocked off the tracks. But we can instead use that to spur our own growth. Key example today. I get knocked off my track quite a few times. But it's what I do with that information and what I intend to do with that information. How do I intend to grow with that information? So today, key example. So I mentioned the strategic inflection points. That is what happens when a business has a major change that takes place that could shake up your business or your life. It is when the balance of forces shifts from the old structure, the old way of doing things or doing a business, and the old way of competing with the new. So in the mid 1980s, those of us that were alive at that point, mid 1980s, Intel Corporation main market was memory chips. And those of you should remember the company name Intel, but just in case, they were the main ones with the memory chips if you were not around. The Japanese, if y'all remember, of course, I can't remember the brands, they stormed the market with a much better quality level and nearly swept Intel off its foundation. Like they were almost a no more company. Think about your big companies like that. Apple. There was one last week or week before that I said, I can't remember what that one is. It's just out of my head now. But if you think about those big companies, there's several big companies that came close to being shut down, but they chose to pivot. They chose to grow in that moment instead of being knocked off their tracks and just giving up. So Intel was competing with the Japanese producers, high quality, the low price. All of us that shop on Amazon or whatever, and then we get it super cheap. Thank you, Cool Ranch. Yes, Apple, HP, and IBM. Thank you. We can get stuff at low price, and they're mass-produced parts. They can do a lot more, right or wrong. They can do more production, it seems. But Andy Grove, the CEO of Intel and author of the Only the Paranoid Survive, he said he looked out the window from his office. I thought this was really good. Looked out the window of his office at the Ferris wheel, and the Ferris wheel was in the Great American Amusement Park. And it was, going around in a circle, but it was in a distance, and he could see it, though. And he made the remark, he said, if we were kicked out and the board hired a new CEO, what would he do? What would they do? And he was, he would get out of the memory business, is what he said. He would get out of the memory business. But then he said, why shouldn't you and I walk out the door and come back and do it ourselves? And I was like, I like the way you changed the thought process there. No, you're not quitting, but you're going to come back in and have that thought process. If you were to get fired, if you were to let go, what would you do? And so that spurs the ideas and the growth and everything. It's always amazing how a simple piece of intuition like that can change the course of business history or even our life history. Intel started focusing all their energies in the business of microprocessors, and they succeeded big time because of that one thought as he was looking out his window at a Ferris wheel. It's amazing to me what things will come to you. There are 7 lessons to learn, whether you are applying it to your business or you're applying it to life itself. The first lesson is never ignore your intuition. Everybody's heard mama's intuition is always right? Never ignore your first instinct just because it isn't what you want to believe. That's right. You say it so much better than I do, Cool Ranch. You leave, gather your thoughts, come back and do it better than your competition. Yes. Always listen to your intuition, that gut feeling. Never ignore that first feeling is something comes up as a red flag or a warning, listen to it. Unless you're an avoider like me. I'll think back to when I worked with my stepdad for 17 years, and at the very end, there were telltale signs of what was going on. I just always have function under if I don't speak it, if I don't say it, then it's not the truth. So that's my way of avoiding things. Slowly but surely, I'm trying to get better at that. That is so hard for me, very hard. 2, never think that your current source of income is going to last forever. How many have been in that boat? Yes, very important. The lesson I learned when I lost my corporate job with my stepdad, anybody in the reselling community knows that you do not just sell on one platform. You have to have multi streams of income that you are bringing in, and even some passive income where you really don't have to think about it. But if you get it, great, but it's not something you're constantly dependent on, but it helps because it's that extra income that's coming in, but it's passive income. And then that led into be prepared to change course. This is number 3. Be prepared to change course and abandon your original cash cow. Always be prepared to change as much as possible. Don't depend on the original cash cow. It can distract from the future and can make people complacent. So just because you had that one great idea, that one big moment, that one big sale, that cash cow does not mean that that's always going to be necessarily the case. So you don't want to be complacent with that. Number 4, always be on guard for change. I had my guard down when I worked for my stepdad completely, 1,000%. I did not see that coming. As far as me losing my job, I really didn't think he would, I believe, when I tell y'all the story, you'll finally understand. But when all that was going down, I believed that the company would help my stepdad, but they did not. They forced him into early retirement. And because of that, they decided that happened in June for him. In August, they decided they no longer needed my service. So the rug was completely just pulled out from underneath me. And like I said, I did not see it coming as far as that it was going to happen right then. I'm not on guard for every single change, guys. I'm not just constantly paranoid and what's going to happen next. The sky is falling. But I think y'all understand what I'm trying to say. But when it comes to our family income or my own personal business, those are the areas that I'm on guard about. Number 5. Hey, Demetrius, welcome in, buddy. Welcome. It's like the goose and the golden egg. Which one do you really want? I'm keeping the goose, right? Yes. Number 5, study your competition and take action. Always be watching others to learn from on what to do differently or what not to do. Be willing to take action on that as well. Probably more so with the flea market and helping Tammy and everything. I'm constantly watching other flea markets and seeing what they do. And then if I think that's a great idea, I'll share it with Tammy and then we'll, implement it if we need to or whatever. But I'm always checking out, not really necessarily that they're competition, but, again, if it's broke, what is it? If it isn't broke, don't fix it. So if it's working for somebody else, it's got to work for us. Night, Tammy. Love you. Number 6, listen to your middle manager and folks on the ground as they have the best information. Also, listen to others, families, and or friends. as well that can see from the outside in or from the sidelines. My husband, my friends of you guys, my other friends that have nothing to do with YouTube, those are the people I rely on whenever it comes to something that I might not necessarily see that needs to be changed. And they can tell me, or or if I'm like, why isn't this working anymore? They can usually somehow lead a thought into discussion of, oh, I now see what I need to change, if anything, and try something new. Always be willing to grow, be willing to try something new. If what was working is no longer working, be willing for that change. Yep. Very true, because I'll talk about that here in a second. So always listen to people, whether it's a business you're running, pay attention to your middle managers, pay attention to the ones that are on the ground, feet on the ground in the business. If it's your personal business, pay attention to what others are thinking or saying, that they share with you and stuff, or ask others, hey, I notice this isn't really working. What do you see that I'm doing might be wrong or might not be working? You're fine, Cool Ranch. Feels like you're in my head all the time. Number 7, you have to understand when a strategic inflection point is going to occur and take action. So a strategic inflection point is a time period with you or I or an organization must respond to a disruptive change. We all know that those disruptive change can be financial, they can be personal, they can be sickness, they can be whatever that's disruptive to your ordinary day-to-day life. And in the business environment, effectively or face, if they don't, then they face deterioration. An inflection point is a decisive moment in the course of some event or situation that marks the start of a significant change. Most of you, as I've been sharing, most of you know that I worked for my stepdad for 18 years in the financial business. I believed in job security just because it was family in corporate, even though we were in a corporate world. It was my stepdad. I knew there'd be some day that he would retire, but I thought I still had at least another 10, 15 years to get my license in order to take over his book. I knew that, and that's what I counted on. What I didn't count on was for my mom to get diagnosed with Alzheimer's and for it to send my stepdad spiraling out of control. So in 2013, I lost my job due to my stepdad, his choice of actions and everything. And I learned that ultimately we have no guarantee of lifelong employment early on. There's no guarantee that you're always going to have that job, which I understand. Everybody knows that anyways, but I'm thinking even with family, there's no guarantee that you're going to have that job. I also learned that I was in charge of my own life, my own career ambitions that I have, that I was in charge of my career and what I chose to do. I operated under such a shadow working for my stepdad that I lost who I was. I was so lost the first 2 years after I lost my job because that's all I knew. And I wasn't sure if I even wanted to continue that because at the time I was still very protective of my stepdad. I didn't want to believe what was going on was really that bad and everything, So it's like I've got to learn who I was. I did not even remember who I was. And so while it was so very, very heartbreaking back then, I've learned so much from it, and it's been all for the good. It hasn't, been anything bad. I mean, it's been bad on relationship level, but as far as me as a person, as far as me growing and everything, it ended up being the best thing that probably could have ever happened to me. Instead of depending on my stepdad, I became more dependent on my husband, which is where I should have been in the first place. It was always, well, my husband says no, I can go ask my stepdad. He'll say yes. Those type of situations. They call, or he would call and say jump, and I would say how high. Like, I had that man on such a tall pedestal that I couldn't see what was going on around me. And it wasn't until after all this happened, and still probably 2-3 years afterwards, before I realized what had really happened and what I should not have been exposed to and all that stuff. But that's another story for another time. But I learned then that there's no such thing as job security, at least when you're working for another person, whether it be a woman or a man. There's no job security. I love you, baby girl. That's why I'm staying off of that topic tonight. Not going too deep in it. Oh, thank you, Cool Ranch. Thank you. But it was so, I finally got to see who I was, what I wanted. When you work for yourself, it's easier to see that you are your own boss and you're responsible for everything that happens to your career versus when you depend on someone else. That's where I ultimately want to be. I don't want to be dependent upon a man or woman, doesn't matter which one, that's going to give me my next dollar. I want to be able to make my own next dollar, if that makes sense. So maybe Andy Grove was right. Maybe only the paranoid do survive. Only those of us that are paranoid can know when a pivot is necessary. So that is all I have on that. Again, like I said, it's going to be short and sweet. I've kind of had a short and sweet kind of day. So anyways, I'm just like, that was all I could put into it. I know, Cool Ranch. There's always that unsureness, though, of who's watching. You know, so much has been going on in the YouTube world of people being made fun of and being an imposter or somebody else. They're lashed at later on or whatever. So it is kind of hard to put too much information out there about myself, I guess, is what I'm getting at. I try to be a very open book for you guys. But I am still holding back just a little. Only y'all that I talk to off of YouTube get the whole story. Selena said, when I got disabled, we lost our home, my car, everything. I understand this happened, but we had our cry. Dust off my pain and went to plan B, right? That was, yeah. Hey, Rev, I missed you, buddy. How are you feeling? How are you? Trauma and some things look better left unsaid. Yep. Harley, I always use her. She will remember the day, probably until she dies, but she'll remember the day that I found out that my job was on the line. And it was a very, very hard night, I should say. But that really affected me. I had to think of a dark time. That had to be one of my darkest times in my life. So there you go, Rev. There you go. Yes. Life's still a struggle, but I'm still breathing. Yes. You know, when I watched my video later, guys, I was sitting there going, I understand after going through what I've gone through the past year with my brother. I understand a hearing aid is not cancer. I would much rather have to deal with a hearing aid than to deal with cancer any day of the week. But it still, is an adjustment. So, but you know how you kind of step back and you're like, oh, that really isn't that big of a deal, and you sound like a little whiny baby. No. Right, Selena? Yes. Had 3 kids, so you just had to do it. I was that way with my girls when Harley and Shelby were little, and I chose to get divorced from my ex-husband. It was just, I had to do it. I was already doing it on my own, except he just had a free place to stay and free food and everything. And it's like, if I'm going to be on my own, I might as well be on my own. So, I just couldn't look back. I just had to do it and take care of my girls because they were the most important thing to me. And then we got an incredible man in our lives, and, the rest is history. Well, my brother, I think, had a hard time with that before the very end. Rev on denying death. Yeah. I know he had a hard time with that. 3 years I lived on $125 a month till disability was approved. Was hard. Single mom of 3, no parents, right? Like, I don't know what I would do without my parents back when I went through that. They helped. My stepdad, of all people, helped the most. And he put $700 towards my rent. I only had to come up $200 a month. And he did that for quite some time until Robert and I got married. So I'm while this one moment in our lives happened, I'm very, very grateful to this day for my stepdad, my mom, and my dad, because they got me through that time with my kids. But that's when you find out everything afterwards that they saw from the sidelines that they tell you afterwards. And you're like, well, if I know that, I would have, would ended that long ago. But then I would not have my Harley, and that's just not happening. So I would go through it all over again if I had to. Vicky, Nikki, welcome in, buddy. Yes, it was rough times, Lisa D, and it makes you appreciate the times that you have where there's not a struggle. Do y'all know that Robert and I, we have been married for 22 years? 22 years. And every time I fill up my tank in my car, I'm always so thankful that I have money to put gas in my car, because those 5.5 years in my first marriage were rough. Like, I didn't know it was pay the electric bill or buy groceries for the family, put gas in the car so I can get to work to make money, or buy medicine for my kids. It was that kind of struggle. And putting gas in your car tank is something that a lot of people probably take for granted. But I'm constantly reminded that there was one time where I would have to count change and hope that I had at least $2, because back then at least gas was cheaper. But at least I had $2 in change to just put gas in my car just so I could get to work, and take my kids where they need to be taken and be able to pick them up, and hope to God that I had enough to where I could maybe count some more change later somewhere, or ask my parents for gas money if I needed to. But I was willing to do whatever it took to take care of my kids. Yeah, see, thank you, Cool Ranch. I think that's what it is. And so I'm very thankful that the surgeon's very honest with me. He was like, look, I'm just going to tell you, if we go in there and we do more surgery and we hurt that nerve even more, once that nerve is gone, you do not have hearing anymore. And with it being already moderately to severe, I decided it just wasn't it's not worth the chance. Now, if I decide later that, hey, I really want to try it, he said I could. But to know that once that nerve is gone, I can forget hearing aids or anything else. So I think I'm just going to stick with the hearing aid. And it's one ear. It's not like it's both. So. Isn't that crazy, Selena? Those kind of things happen. at such hard times. That was also the time I lost my job was the time, well, Emma was already born, but the year I found out when things came to blows with my stepdad and what was really going on before I lost my job, and here with my Shelby was pregnant, and stuff, and it was just like every time I turned around, I was just getting sucker punched, just like I was this past year. It's just like, okay, God, you say you don't give me more than what my cup can hold, but you're kind of pushing it because it's about to run over. But again, it's so hard to see when you're in the moment of what good's going to come out of something or what there is to learn from it. But then when you're able to look back on it years later, you realize how much good did come from it, even though it might have been so very painful. You should be able to just have to pivot. Yeah, I can turn that thing off when Ellie Billy comes. Yeah, that's so hard. I couldn't imagine, Lisa. That's right. Couldn't do without the Lord. Couldn't do without the Lord, and you just did it. Like, you didn't know there was any other option out there, right? Oh, well, now you can go see Cool Ranch, Red. If you're able to travel, buddy. Most people take that for granted, and most of those people didn't come from hard times. Amen. That's like Robert and I, we've always have had this discussion. I've always raised my girls to be thankful for what they have, just because that's how my mom raised me. And my mom was a single mom for 5 years, and me and my brother. And my brother, yes, was 8 years older than me, but there were things that we still wanted to do, as kids and everything. And my brother having to watch me more times than probably should have had to because my mom had to work. And back then, child support was not enforced. And nor were we enforced to go see our dad unless we wanted to or he wanted us. So, which I'm thankful for that, because I think forcing kids to see people they might not want to see, or they're forced to have that relationship that they might not want to have, I'm thankful because it made me appreciate the relationship that I have with my dad. So the bad scrap change for gas to go food pantry, right? And then learning what different ways you can do potatoes and beans and noodles. My ex-husband's favorite dish was tomato juice and noodles, V8 juice, whatever, with noodles. I can't stand that dish to this day, just because it takes me back there. I haven't had hamburger helper since back then because it just takes me back to that time, and I don't want to be back there. My daughter's husband kicked Stevie out when he found about Ryland had to have a kidney transplant. It was awful, right? It's just like things happen, and then you're like, that's why I went through that struggle. Yeah, I was really thankful for that, because he could easily said, look, you need to have surgery. And I just tell, but there was regret all over his face, I could tell. So I don't know if I got the whole story, but he just looked very regretful having to tell me all of this, because the the prosthetic that's in my ear, he said it slipped just a little, but not enough to where it really caused enough of an issue. And he said, my bone hearing is good. It's improved. It's my nerve hearing that has been shot and worse than what it was before surgery. So, I can't hear out of it unless you shove something so far down deep in there, because it's like, oh, I can hear that beep. Until there's noise. When there's noise, I can't hear anything. Right? That's when you know your family is really there for you. It's like, nope, we're going to get through this. Same thing with Shelby. It's like, okay, you might be pregnant, but you're still going to. It was April, so she was almost graduating high school anyway. So we're like, nope, you're going to graduate high school. If you want to go to college, you're going to college. And to hell with the what's the word I'm thinking of? The teenage pregnancy and stuff. To hell with those facts and everything. And Shelby broke every one of those. She graduated high school. She went to Pulaski Tech, got her certificate in technology, and then she's got her bachelor's degree. Most teenage pregnancies do not end up like that. So what's that word? Cool Ranch, what is that word I'm trying to think of? What is that word? Stigma. Thank you. Yes, and there's another word, though, that I'm thinking of. Status quo keeps coming to my head, but that's not the right word. I think you know what I'm saying. Yes, the rates. Like, she shot all those out. Mike hated having to get hearing aids, but once he did, he was amazed at what he was missing out on. See, I was just always worried. Like, I know they come a long way since my grandfather wore them because you could always hear the beep, when he had it turned up too high. So I know from that aspect they've improved. I have been really worried about being kind of distorted, like it's not a true sound, like I hear on my left ear versus my right ear, That's the only thing I kind of worried about. And I'm assuming I'm only getting one, but that I won't know that till July 26th. No, her talking has gotten so good. Who are you talking to? Well, my cup started running over. I've been filling with love for my Virgil through God's grace. Amen, Jimmy. That's such a great way to look at that, bud. See, that's why I'm so glad I'm with y'all. It only takes one person to make you change your thoughts from a negative to a positive. Makes us stronger in areas, and we appreciate the small things that much more. Amen. Yes. It's just like, thank you for my gas. I'm so thankful for gas. Thank you for always having food in my house, because there was times that we didn't have anything. And again, thank you that my kids were so young, at least Harley, that she don't remember a lot of that. So, yes. I hate hamburger helper that explains. The only one that I really ever liked hamburger helper was, but we just never have had it, is the beef stroganoff, potato stroganoff. That one I really did like. But yeah, I can't eat it. Not now. Hey, Booted Chick, welcome in. Good to see you. I may not be worth much, Scooter, but I'll be your cheerleader. Same. Even on my bad days, Selena, I will still be your cheerleader. Stereotype. Yes. Thank you, Maggie. Yes. Stereotype. Not every teenager should have that stigma that they can't finish something. They can, especially if they have the support of their parents. I realize not every child is as fortunate. Not distorted. Not distorted? Okay. And no beeping. Good. See, I don't want to hear that, Jimmy. It took one person being positive to make me not feel so negative, and now it's taking your negative and making me negative again. How long ago have you had them? Or did you get them, Jimmy? Oh, Got you, Harley. Yeah, my right ear is my worst. My 30% ear. My left ear. It's so much better. I mean, I still have in my left ear I got mild to moderate hearing loss in it, but nothing like my right ear. Like my right ear is moderate to severe, so I cannot imagine with Rylan. And then plus all his surgeries. That's one tough kid, I will tell you. One tough kid. He's going to do big things. Is that when he goes, huh? When I was at the ear doctor today, ladies, the hearing audiologist walks out and she said, you know, men can't hear women, right? So, even with hearing aids, huh? Jimmy loves hamburger helper. I loved Spam when I was a little girl, but now it's just like, ugh. Like I remember, I still like bologna sandwiches, but if you think back to late 70s, early 80s, it was just like, at the time, that's all Mama could afford. You know? We didn't have all this nice, fancy food that we have now. You turn down the volume on the hearing aids, good. Just so I can go, huh? Rice, cream mushroom soup, and beans. Yeah, no more. Mm-hmm. Of course, that sounds really good. Well, then, Jimmy, you should get new ones then and see what you think. That is one thing I am grateful about Coleridge is that they are invisible now. They got that clear cord if you have the one with the cord, and then some of them you don't even have a cord. So I don't know. We'll see. Oh, I didn't know Pat's mom wore hers. Huh. Yeah, they were asking me. They're like, "Oh, you have health advantage? Do you work for the state?" I'm like, "No." Are you teachers? No, it's through my husband's work. She's like, "Oh, well, health advantage usually covers the cost of your hearing aids." I'm like, "Oh, good to know." Watch it be the cheap ones, though. Watch it be yeah. Dang it, I've gone 48 years without perfect hearing. I'm on top of the line. I still love bologna sandwich, though, Jimmy. Like fried bologna sandwich, yes, I'm all over that. When me and Tammy and Dale and Robert went up to Elisa's estate sale for her aunt, we stopped at this hole in the wall restaurant that was downtown Hardy area. And we went to a flea market that was across the street. And we went over there and they had fried barbecue bologna sandwich. And yes, it was like that thick, super thick. Loved it. And then they had the most awesome homemade coconut cake. Oh. Yeah, she has them for both ears. You can tell when she ain't got hers in because we have to repeat ourselves, which you don't see hers either. Cool. Man, I love me some fried bologna. Yes. Like, I can eat regular bologna sandwich, but there's just something about fried bologna. Ooh, a fried egg on top. I bet that was good. Yes, yes. Celine, I haven't. I keep seeing those commercials. Don't knock it till you try it. Well, I've tried it, but it was been many, many years ago. And I don't know if it's because the stigma around Spam back in the day was you were poor if you were buying Spam back in the day because it was the cheapest you could get next to bologna. So. Fried, yes. But I never had barbecue fried bologna sandwich until that day. Oh, it was so good. I was like, something so easy to think of to put barbecue sauce on it. Why have I thought of this before? Mm-hmm. Right? Sam's gonna be like, go to bed, girl. Go to bed. Oh, I gotta show y'all. There's this lady that comes in not my store, but comes into the flea market. And her name is Kathy, and she spells it with a K. So immediately I have love for this woman because that was my mom's name with a K. And she, bless her heart, she has been hit by a semi and she had some other real bad wreck. So she's, hunched over. Super nice lady. And I think she has probably like a hoarding addiction, which is fine. I mean, I don't judge anybody on that. Super sweet lady. Her and I, we just developed a really close relationship and everything. And she's having surgery on the 12th. She's got some lesion in her stomach. So her name is Kathy. If y'all can add her to your prayers list, I would greatly appreciate that. So she's having that surgery on Wednesday. But anyways, she came in and she brought a notebook. I'm just going to show you. Well, that's not going to work either. I'm just going to show you the notebook. But she got me this notebook and she got me this fairy that has rhinestones on it. Oh, come on, camera. There you go. Super cute. But I was just like taken back that she brought me anything to begin with. Now, I did not notice that this had a scooter on it. I was like, oh, look at that. And then it says she's going places. Y'all know me and my Monday motivation. So that right there, I was like, yes, ma'am. So I love this notebook. It's the same color. If you look at my header and everything, it's the same exact daggone color of the scooter that I have on there. So I was like, that's so perfect. I love it. Haven't decided what I'm going to do with it yet, but you never know. Harley says fried bologna is good, but not uncooked. Nope. Your daddy gets mad at me because I like taking 2 slices of bologna. I want it as thick as I could possibly get it. I don't like that thin crap. Do not give me thin bologna. He'll say, get alive, Selena. Hold on just a second, cool. I'll show it here in a second. I'll take spam or bologna anytime. They claim that you can really do that in so many different ways. And maybe I'll break down by can because there's that one commercial where it's got like rice, peas, and carrots, and it's all like a stir fry type thing. Hey, Renee, welcome in. Good to see you. So good to see you. But see, Selena, I still know what you're saying. So let me see if I can find that picture real quick. This was Elle's 4th of July picture. And oh my gosh. Cuteness overload. I'm not just saying that because she's my granddaughter, but Harley and I, we text so much. So it takes a moment. Okay, look at this, guys. How cute is Ellie Belly? Those little pigtails with the red, white, and blue bows and her little ruffle pants. That one she sent me that I loved. She apparently put her sunglasses on and was super proud of herself. I'm trying to get her facial expression. There you go. Now you can see it. She was so proud of herself. Very much cuteness overload. And then she sent me one tonight that was, they're back now, but she stole her mama's tea But you can see mischievousness all. She's proud of herself. So, she's a cutie. Right, cool she is. She is so stinking adorable. Dice it up smaller. Okay. Spam, it just looks like dog food to me. Is all about the appearance. See, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just like, maybe it's the smell. It makes me think of cat food. Probably more so. Whatever canned food. But I used to eat what do you call it? Sardines. I used to eat sardines when I was a kid. Won't touch those. Nope. Yeah, Gigi will get her some more. You can best believe it. Yep. I get tickled at Harley. She'll text me and say, well, if y'all see this, get it for L. Amazon, order, send. He really cool. I would never have guessed that about you. No, I would never guess that about you. I had sardines since my uncle was alive, and I was still living in DeWitt, still living in DeWitt, Arkansas. I got tickled because Robert and I were talking about yesterday was my mom's birthday. And I said, you know, it meant so much to me that you went on her Facebook page and put that you loved her and missed her. You know, even though she's not here with us, you were celebrating with me. And he goes, yeah. And then I saw your stepdad's post about how, you know, pitiful for me. Nobody will bring me to see you. They're all busy, whatever, guilt trip. I said, well, if he would have kept his nose straight and his crap straight, it would have been a totally different picture. And then I looked at Robert. I was like, wait, what did I say? He said, straight nose. I went, I meant if he kept his nose clean. Not a straight nose. She's my girl, though. You're my girl. Harley, I can't remember if y'all knew this or not, but Harley has her own little spot in the flea market, and she about made her full rent for her little spot this last month, and it's her first month. I was like, oh, look at that girl go. So she's already done that in her first month. She's going to do even better than that in the next few months. So no fish here or nuts. I can imagine. I love salmon, and I even like some tilapia, maybe some cod. But yeah, I do like some fish. Just not sardines anymore. Right? Cool. I was like so stoked about her doing that. I was like, look at you go, girlfriend. And she don't even, her area is not even completely full. So once she gets it jam packed up in there, boy, she's going to be moving mountains. All right, guys. Next week's topic, I cannot wait to discuss. It will be on the old argument, if you see the glass half full or do you see it half empty. I can't tell you what, I can't wait to tell you what I have to share with you on that part. But I also can't wait to see what you guys think as well. If you think the glass is half full or half empty. Harley will tell you I've always thought it's half full, but now my thought process has changed on that. So tomorrow night, Roflo and I will be on. We will have some warehouse clearance items, but I'm going to throw in some items that we just got as well. They'll be normal pricing, but I still give y'all deals. So they just won't be $1 deal. But anyways, so I will still do that. We'll be on tomorrow night for that at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. And then Wednesday night, I'll be back on with Dream Chaser Tammy from Hometown Country Marketplace. We'll be on at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. I haven't decided if we're going on her channel or my channel. Thursday night, Cool Ranch, Roflo and I will be back on my channel at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern for another auction. Cool Ranch and I are working on a Christmas in July. I don't think we ever came up with a date, but we are working on that. And hopefully have some of our friends on with us as well. Let's see. Friday morning, I will be on with Picky Nikki at 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern. We'll be doing some jewelry. But be watching for some pop-ups. And I am still trying to get the Buy It Now videos dropped as well. So make sure you are subscribed and you ring the bell for all notifications so you will not miss those videos. Kind of like today's video as well. That was a surprise, I bet. Let's see. Selena's going to be on with us, but I think it's next week. I think it's next Thursday. Selena will be on with us. Or Wednesday. Might be Wednesday. Now I'm going to get her confused. So, guys, I'm going to get off of here. We've been on here for an hour. I'm going to get off here and go have me some watermelon, I think, is what I'm going to do. But you guys... Oh, wait, Jimmy Mac, are you going to come to market tomorrow, Scooter? Wait. Oh, yeah, tomorrow's Tuesday. I was thinking, wait, it's Wednesday. You're not going to be there. Possibly. I never like committing. Probably the closest thing, though, Cool Ranch to Hometown Country is Armadillo. Brass Armadillo Flea Market. Robert and I were at a flea market. Where were we? Hot Springs. And it's one of my favorites, but I hate having to get anything out of a case because you got to wait for them, obviously, like most places. But Brass Armadillo Flea Market, you do not wait. You hit the button. I mean, yeah, you got to wait for them to get there, but you hit a button. You don't have to go and tell somebody at the counter that you need somebody to come get something out of a case. You just hit the button and they come to you. So I'm like, man, we need to implement that. The 19th, yes. That's right, the 19th. All right, guys. Y'all have a great rest of your night. Have a great week. I hope I'll see you sometime this week. If you can make it tomorrow night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, or Friday morning, anytime. But in case I miss you, have a great week, guys. And again, we'll be back here for next Monday's motivation at 8 p.m. Central. So do not miss out. I know, but 40 minutes is worth it. Cool. All right, guys. Have a great night. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.